Hi, I'm Vic Perri, and here I am at Pride March's annual fundraiser, Cake Bake-Off. This is a time of year where the whole queer community gets together to try out their culinary skills and come out with some amazing creations. Let's check out, see what's on offer this year.
I would love to get over $5,000. I know last year we made 13, but that was a bit of an exceptional year. But if we can get over $5,000, I'll be very happy.
And what about the standard cakes this year? Is it getting any better?
You wouldn't have thought it could have gotten any better, but yet again, this community has just outdone itself. This is amazing. Absolutely. I'm so proud.
Now, the money raised today and any other sort of fundraising events through the year is to help Pride March, isn't it?
It is. It's to help put on Pride March. Predominantly, well, Dale from DT's hates it when we say this, but it does go to paying for the toilets.
Here I am with the judges of the day. Who are we?
Well, I'm a very corrupt local government person. I'm taking bribes for Pride.
Okay.
I'm going to vote solely on the basis of the bribe.
Excellent.
I'm Damien. I'm actually not this short. I'm just crouching down so that I can get these pictures. I am. Hang on a second. Fantastic. Yeah, Damien from Joy. Hi.
And are you found it difficult so far judging?
There's some amazing cakes here. We've just been having a look at, there's the spaced out cake over here, the Bailey's cake. I'm thinking I might have to take home. I'll open it up and hopefully there is some liquor in the site there. We'll find out.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Mel, what's your favourite cake here?
Oh, there's lots of fantastic cakes here. I have to admit, I am rather partial to the glow cake. I actually like the spiel that goes with it, and it explains it a little bit more and does an analogy with the Kelly gang.
She's biased, though.
But I'm not taking bribes.
Well, yes, they kill police.
My initial reaction was a little bit obtuse to it, but then as I read further down, I actually did like it. As Scott went on to explain that as the Kelly gang was fighting from oppression, so was the gay and lesbian community. Interesting analogy, but anyway.
Good to have a bit of politics. And which one did you fancy?
I like the carrot cake because I got to eat some. That was very nice.
And is it difficult? This year judging?
I think it's really difficult because some of them are homemade and some of them are shop made. So we've got to judge between what the ideas really that go behind them, and also it's good to taste them because they taste yummy.
And here I am waiting for Doctor Who to just pop out of the box. Hello, Doctor Who, you're in there? I'm sure he's in there somewhere. It won't be long, maybe a bit later. Kay Meadows, the Mayor of the City of Yarra. How are you, Kay?
Hi, how are you going?
And can I just say on behalf of everyone, thanks for supporting the Pride March Bake-Off.
Oh, look, this is fantastic. It's being held in Richmond, which of course is part of the City of Yarra, and it also happens to be my local ward. And it's a fantastic opportunity for the council to support our gay community and also to support DT's as a local pub.
The auctioneer for the day, Macca. How are you, Macca?
How are you, Vic? What a great turnout today. Look at them. The place is packed. 46 entries. A few down on last year, but still the second biggest year ever. So last year it raised $13,000.
Fantastic. And have you seen any cakes that you'd like to take home?
Well, there's quite a bit of beefcake I'd like to take home. I think everyone's actually, really put in a lot of effort today. There's big cakes, there's imaginative cakes, and there's professional pastry cooks have made some of these cakes today, as well as some stunning home cooks, and all of them, everything's edible. Yeah. Like, did you see the Ian Thorpe one?
Yes.
The frame is actually edible. Yeah. Imagine eating your way into Ian Thorpe.
Category 2 is the cakes, and second prize goes to Emily May, the Bailey's cake.
65, we've got 65 on the stage. Darling, you're looking young for your age. 65, anyone going up to 70? Can I see 70 down there, Gary? Is that just joking your beard? 70 in the room? Is that a waving arm over there? $70? 65 at the moment. 70 down here at $70. Remember, we've got $300 worth of advertising with B News. Melbourne, one of Melbourne's premier newspapers. $60 worth of advertising, $300 worth of advertising, and it's already up to 65. That was 65, wasn't it? 65, 70 down there. It was 70 down there. Anyone to 75? 75. I'm looking for 75. Can I see 75? No, darling, you do look that age, but you're not. I'm looking for 75. Anyone 75. It's on 70. We're going to have to sell it, Macca. We're going to have to sell it at 70. We're going to sell it. First call at $70 to the gorgeous man over here in the middle. First call for $70. We're going to second call already. Time is a fleeting. Second call. We're going to sell it. I think we'll sell it. It's sold.
The Gay and Lesbian Liaison Officer of the Victoria Police for Region 1. How are you, Scott?
I'm really good, thank you very much. Having a wonderful time here at DT's.
Fantastic. And you've entered a cake, of course.
I entered a cake and I was really happy. We came third again. We got third last year with our big glow cake, and this year we've come third with our policeman cake. So yeah, really happy.
Fantastic. Has it been auctioned yet?
It hasn't been up for auction yet. No, they're still going. So hopefully it'll pull up a few dollars for pride.
Yeah, what are you expecting?
Oh, well, last year we got $500, but the way things are going out there tonight, I'm not expecting $500. But, $50 or $60 I'll be really happy with.
Christine Darmody, President of Midsummer. How are you, Christine?
Hi, Vic. Very well. Very
good.
Well.
You've got an entrant?
We have an entry. It's the Midsummer Come and Pig Out at Midsummer entry. Basically, we've constructed a pig surrounded by a whole lot of little cupcakes, and every little cupcake represents a piece of our fabulous community. So yeah, no, we're happy.
I've seen it.
I mean, it's extraordinary. This event, really makes people think about what they're doing, and it's just such a fabulous community event in terms of let's make a cake and construct something that we think is important, or just put together a couple of sponges and come down and raise some money for Pride, which is what it's all about. Pride March is one of the key, major events of Midsummer, and we have a wonderful working relationship. We're very proud to have them as part of the festival, and we're very privileged that they, choose to have the Pride March at the time when the Midsummer Festival is running. So, as I said, they're a huge asset to the festival and a wonderful event in its own right. I mean, Pride March is a huge event on the gay calendar, and we all love it.
Oh, this looks really interesting. I'll try. Here I am with the D in the DTs, and of course the T in the peel, if that makes any sense. How are you guys?
Very well indeed. It's been such a
fabulous. Day. Yeah, they're fabulous. They're obviously having a good time. Dale, you'd be pretty proud of having this event here at DTs. It's one of those rare events that the whole community gets together.
Oh, look, you've got every faction here, and everyone supplies a cake, whether they make it themselves or they have it made for them. At least the effort goes in, and I think that's the most important thing about any community event. So it's
a lot of fun.
Well, I make a PAV every year, and
not very well.
No, well, this particular year, the sides fell off. I think someone snuck upstairs when I was watching a movie and opened the oven on me.
And what about you, Tom? The peel got an entrant?
Yes, we did actually. We had a Lego cake, which was we had a Lego cake, which was a block of apartments, which represented a new peel once I get evicted and stuff. Anyway, it's a fabulous bake-off. The bake-offs are always fabulous. I always get off at the bake-off.
And of course, something big is coming up for you, Dale.
Yes, well, I've put my hand in to sit for actual council for Yarra. The elections are in, I think, about November. Molly Meldon has put his hand up to be my campaign manager, so that's very lovely of him. We've known each other for 30 years and also lives up the street.
Dale, that's fantastic, and good luck. I'm sure there'll be a few votes there for you.
Thank you very, very much, Vic. It's very kind of you. Thank you.
Always want to know, what do they wear under their kilts? Oh my God, a bit of too much information there.
When someone says to me, what have you got under your kilt? I give it nothing, love.
That's Vic Perri from TT's signing off. Cake Bake Off. Perri, and here I am with Brian Mier, Director of the Melbourne Leather Festival. It's happening in just a few days. How are you, Brian? You're all excited?
Sure are. Vic, it's the biggest festival we've ever had with 32 events this year, and it's almost overwhelming, actually. Yeah.
And how long has it been going for? It's a few years now.
This is the 9th year. The first was actually called the Collingwood Leather Festival back in 1995, and there were 5 events in that, and here we are at 32 events with about 30 organisations involved in one way or another. So.
That's huge. It sort of sounds quite big compared to other places in the world. Is it a big international festival?
Well, yes, although it's probably the world's closest kept secret. If you compare it with Sydney Leather Pride Week runs for 10 days, I think, or 7 days over 1 week, and has about a dozen events. We run for 3.5 weeks, right through from Friday the 27th of August till Monday the 20th of September, which is the Bears Leather Night, and that winds up the festival this year.
And so what are some of the highlights of this festival?
Okay, well, we always open with a low-cost, very inclusive, very free and easy cocktail party called Unleashed, and that's on Friday the 27th of August at the Abode Club in 374 St Kilda Road, St Kilda. Anyone can rock up to that for $10, but you do need to wear a bit of fetish gear, otherwise it doesn't work. But the big thing opening the festival this year is a new idea called Rocky's Progressive Party, and that's based on the Rocky Horror Show, and we've teamed with a number of organisations, so we're actually, like a progressive dinner, it advances through 3 venues. So we start off with Brad and Janet's wedding supper at the Traffic Cafe Bar in Northcote, go next door to the Westgarth Theatre for the live version of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which means that there's performance going on right throughout the movie. And then at 2:30am motor down to Abode, which becomes Transylvania for the play party afterwards. So it's going to be absolutely fantastic. And you can get inquiry sheets and tickets from both Eagle Leather in the north and Abode in the south for that.
And any sort of activities for someone who's quite new to this scene?
Well, yes, we have, and in fact we've teamed 2 together this year that are really special for newcomers. Eagle Leather's doing its usual introduction to bondage, discipline and sadomasochism seminar on Thursday the 2nd of September, and the following night Hush Now has a stepping out night, which is a gentle social domination submissive play party for newcomers. And so Mistress Tan's coming to our seminar and I'm going down to stepping out, so that we're really having the 2, so people can come and learn what it's all about, and if they want to go and see what it's all about they can go to Hush Now the next night and do that. We do have a few other seminars and workshops of an introductory nature throughout the festival, and I think quite a number of the other activities are welcoming of newcomers and inquirers as well.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Brian. So the Melbourne Leather Festival happening on the 27th of August, just a few days from now. And, of course, all the information that you want about the festival you can find in the local press. Back to Jason in the studio. And here I am with the fabulous Paul Capsis. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Vic.
How are you?
I'm good. It's very early in the morning.
It is a bit.
Well, I flew in last night, and so I'm still kind of, getting into the Melbourne vibe.
And all excited about playing at Her Majesty's Theatre in Melbourne.
So excited.
It's just incredible.
It's unreal. It doesn't seem real, actually. It's just so beyond. I mean, playing this beautiful theatre. I love these theatres. I always want to play them.
But you used to cabaret. I mean, that's your thing, and that's what you've done in Melbourne and Sydney most of the time. Yeah. Do you have to change anything, or do you do it in a different way, or because the audience here is going to be umpteen bigger than what you used to?
I hope so. I mean, the thing is, it's because it's an orchestra that's going to change it completely. Yep. I mean, usually I just work with Aaron and it's acoustic, but we're having 30 musicians on stage, so all the wonderful, violins and the trumpets, and I think that's going to make me go more because, you know, I tend to like go for it, but I think with an orchestra it'll make me go even more.
More incentive. Now, last time we spoke to you, and Ben TV had spoken to you, Melbourne International Arts Festival last year.
Yes.
And you performed in the fabulous Spiegel tent, which I saw you twice.
Love the Spiegel tent.
It was
love it.
Just amazing, and it seemed to really bring out the best in you. That intimacy with the audience.
Yeah. I mean,
and
the
that
intimacy
cozy
is
atmosphere.
it does, and because people are like really close to you, and there's something about that tent as well, because the history of the place, and I seem to kind of absorb the history. You know what I mean? I take all the history in and just feel it and the look of it, you know. I just love it. It sort of transports me to another time when people paid a bit of attention to aesthetics. Remember that? Oh, we probably don't remember. We don't remember, but we can look in our history books and see what they used to do with buildings once, like this building.
Yeah. I just want to read some quotes out, because there aren't that many people in this world that these sort of quotes can be attributed to. But you know, there's one person that said that a night with Paul as one to change your life. Paul takes your breath away, leaving you gasping, open-mouthed in amazement and admiration.
Must I sit here and listen to this?
When Paul Capsis sings, the effect is electric. One countenances the possibility of a higher force. Do you feel that you have this higher force inside you when you sing?
I don't know what happens. Something happens. Something happens. I just let it happen, you know. That's my job. I kind of let it happen. My job is to do this thing, and I do it.
And particularly when you do, and one of the more famous ones is when you do Janis Joplin. I mean, that's just, you just transform into Janis.
Sometimes I'm not there, you know. Sometimes I really feel like something else comes in, and I don't always feel that, but when it's there, and those four nights last year at the Spiegel tent, something happened those 4 nights. I mean, I was absolutely, completely exhausted and wrecked after every show, and didn't know how I was going to do every show. You know, the first show was fine, but the second and the third and the fourth shows, I remember just thinking, where am I going to get this thing from? And something would happen, and it was extraordinary. And that doesn't always happen. And I think that has to say a lot about Melbourne audiences. I think the way the Melbourne people embrace things, they embrace what I do, and they've kind of let themselves go with it, you know.
We love cabaret in Melbourne.
Yeah, and I just think Australian audiences are very sophisticated, you know. They're very kind of, I don't know, they just sort of have an intelligence about things. They don't question we don't understand this. They just go with it, which, you know.
Now, since we spoke to you last, you've also won some awards.
Yeah,
yes, tell us.
Victoria gave me a Green Room Award.
Exactly.
Vic.
Yep, fantastic.
I mean, really. Hello. I mean, it was really, as, you know, best cabaret artist, I was thrilled. I have it proudly displayed in my living room at home, so I see it every day. It reminds me of, you know, that there are people who appreciate what you do.
Yeah, and we do.
What I do.
And what else? What other awards have you won?
Oh, I won a Helpman Award. Was it a year ago for a show I did at the Opera House with Aaron, and that was pretty special. And I won a Film Critics Circle Award for Head On, my performance in Head On, Best Supporting Actor. I mean, it's great, you know. It's another thing. It's a wonderful thing. But for me, what I get more is the thing that I really appreciate is work, is getting the opportunity to perform. That's what we sort of ache for, you know, as performers.
But you do it so well.
But the icing is, when you get awarded and stuff, you know, it's nice.
Now, what have you actually done in terms of touring since we spoke to you last?
Oh gosh, I went to China. I went to the People's Republic of China.
Would have been amazing.
It was a mind. I mean, it was just beyond.
Did they know about you beforehand? Or?
No, a friend of mine has a venue in Shanghai. She's been there for 5 years, and she has lots of performers come over. And for her 5th celebration, she, because I've performed for her in Hong Kong, she has a venue in Hong Kong as well, and I've performed there a lot. And I went to Hong Kong, and I did a small season, and to celebrate this 5th anniversary of her venue, she invited me to perform one night, and she had 1,000 people packed into this very small room. And I've been invited to go there next year to do a season, but she had me come in and everyone had to wear pink, and it was just wild. I mean, it was a riot, a near riot. And it was just like this wild rock concert, you know. People were like surging the stage and pressing up against Aaron and screaming and walking on stage, and people coming on stage and taking my photo. It was out of this world.
So next time there's going to be 100,000.
Oh, look, I don't know. Look,
in China.
think it was. I mean, China is wild. It's like a boom town. Shanghai. It's just like this city of hope and prosperity, and people would stare at me on the street. They just stop and kind of in groups, usually her families, and just look at me, but not in a nasty way like they do sometimes in the street, but they kind of, they just sort of look at me curiously and just with these open faces, and I just would stare back at them because I thought they were so beautiful, these extraordinary Chinese.
Now, you've also been busy in the studio recording.
Yeah, well, I've been in the studio. It's a live album. My first album that's about to come out is a live album, and I went into the studio with a wonderful engineer, a guy by the name of Robin Gist, and he was an angel because he was just so open and wanting to support me in terms of what I wanted, my vision, what I wanted to hear, in terms of, like, out of 14 tracks, we selected 9 of the best, and it was such an experience, wonderful experience.
It's called Paul Capsis Live.
Yeah, really simple.
It's a CD, and it's out
my first
now.
one. It's my first. It'll be available at the concerts, and it's out in the shops now.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks very much, Paul.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
And I hope to do this again next time.
Great.
And we'll look forward to seeing you back in Melbourne.
Hopefully.
And you'll be back in Melbourne.
I hope so. I love Melbourne.
Yeah.
And who knows what, but something different, and yeah.
Great, thanks. And don't forget Paul's CD, Paul Capsis Live, and it's out now. So if you want to hear the amazing voice of Paul, don't forget to get the CD. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Cheers. Oh, he's so sweet.
Time to realize my crime. Anyway, but Liza got married, and I'm thrilled. Did you see the photographs? Yeah, I was there. In spirit. But didn't Liza, my little baby, my daughter, my eldest, look marvelous? Didn't she look wonderful? And her husband, so handsome. Not a line. You'd never believe he was 104. Wouldn't you like to know what's going on in Marlena's mind? To the point. I don't pop my cork that way, man, that I see. Hey, big spindle. My name is Brother Capsize. Brother Capsize in the house tonight, and I am the high priest of love and syncopation. Now, my 20-year-old brother Aaron and I, we want to remind you of something. We want to remind you of who is the most powerful of them all. And we want to do that with asking you this little question. And that question is, who made the mountains? Who made the trees? Who made the river just to flow out to the sea? And if someone comes along, you're gonna give him some love and affection. I say get him while he can. Hey, get him while he can. Honey, get him while he can. Don't you turn your sweet back on love. No, no.
I'm greatly honoured to have been invited to launch the Anti-Violence Project's 2004-2005 Anti-Homophobia poster campaign. I believe it's common for public speakers to weave their words around a dictionary definition. It might interest you to know that in the complete Oxford English Dictionary, all 20 volumes that are held in Parliament's library, there is no definition of homophobia. Unfortunately, homophobia is a day-to-day reality for many members of our gay, lesbian, transgender and bisexual communities. They suffer a level of discrimination and violence which shames us all. In the landmark Enough is Enough report from 2000, a startling 84% of those polled had at some time experienced at least one form of discrimination or abuse on the basis of their sexuality or gender identity. A similar survey published in New South Wales last year reported a figure of 85%, and a startling and a significant number of those relate to violent acts. These statistics highlight the urgent and continuing need for education and awareness raising, which this poster campaign will help us to address. If legislation were a panacea to all of society's ills, in many ways our job would be an easy one. Changing people's views and countering deep-seated prejudices also needs community education and awareness. I want to thank the Anti-Violence Project and its partners and sponsors for their persistence and determination in continuing to tackle this issue. In particular, I wish to acknowledge and applaud the involvement of Sam Solomon. He is an outstanding young man who is breaking down barriers, showing us and his peers that strength of character is just as important as physical toughness. I'm convinced that the efforts of all of you here today will help us to banish homophobia from the language, attitudes and behaviour of those who would allow it to affect so many lives. I therefore take great pleasure in formally launching the Anti-Violence Project 2004-2005 poster campaign. Thank you very much.
Here I am at the Anti-Violence Project post launch, and I'm speaking with Christine Nixon, Police Commissioner of Victoria Police. How are you, Christine?
I'm well, thanks. Nice to see you.
Now, how important do you think this is?
Look, I think it's a part of a process, a continuing campaign that's really been going on for a long time now to try and make the community aware of the violence that is often suffered by members of the gay and lesbian, transsexual, transgender community. And I think that what this campaign will be about, it's just a gentle way of getting people to see that violence is gutless, and that violence, particularly against people because of their sexuality, is just amazing to me. I mean, I find it offensive. I find it I don't understand it, and I think what we're trying to say to people that it isn't cool, it isn't tough to beat up on people who because of their sexuality. And so, the campaign, I hope, will be focused at different areas where we believe some of the people who might frequent gyms, other people who might be in certain clubs and actually harm the people from the homosexual community, we believe that they might get the message and stop. I just never did understand this against the gay and lesbian community, and there's no reason for it. It's just appalling, really. And so for me, it was a way of showing support. We've got the gay and lesbian officers now into place, and they're really working well. It's part of a continuing campaign, and I think this advertisement is great.
Thanks very much, Christine. Thank you. Okay. And now I'm talking to Sam, the man. How are you, Sam?
Hello, mate. How you going? All right.
Now, what did you think when you were approached to have your face on this sort of poster?
Well, I thought, I'm going to be doing a good deed for the community, and mate, nothing stopped us from there, definitely. Yeah.
You think it's an important issue, obviously?
It is an important issue. You hear a lot of stories out there, and of people beating on defenceless, smaller people. I mean, the tougher man's the one that takes on someone his own size, and that's not taking someone your own size when you're walking around beating on defenceless people. And I'm hopefully going to make a change to that in some way.
It's fantastic. And it's not just about sexuality, really. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. Violence is violence, and there's just no need for it, is there?
That's right. Violence is violence. There's no need for it. There's no winner in violence. There's only a loser. I've been boxing for 18 years. I've been in the ring fighting for 18 years, and I've never once considered, having to go out there and beat on defenceless people.
Fantastic. You're doing a fantastic thing, Sam, and we admire you and respect you, so and very much appreciative. Thanks very much. Thank you. I'm speaking with Jill Wood and Greg Atkins, the co-conveners of the Anti-Violence Project. How are you?
Hey. How are you?
Feeling great at the moment, I tell you. We've just had the best launch. It was just amazing.
Yeah. There's quite a number of people here.
Yeah. Oh, look, we invited a number of people, but a lot more turned up. And it's just the atmosphere in there was incredible. Yeah.
It's like this huge partnership now that's taking place in this state, but with the gay community and the broader straight community tackling some of the really important issues for us. And it's coming together, Vic. It's fantastic.
And quite significant that Christine was here as well.
Yep. Christine and Jenny Makakis, the Parliamentary Justice Secretary, the Deputy to the Attorney General. And it's just fantastic to have that level of involvement. Yeah.
How easy was it to get someone like Sam? That's probably an unlikely person to be involved in a homophobic sort of project.
That almost turned when she managed to get him.
Oh, look, I just love him. It was actually something we got through Convenience Advertising. They were able to secure Sam because they'd been doing some work with the boxing fraternity, I think, and they managed to get him. And what a coup. Sam will be the number one middleweight. He will be. He'll be world champion. And he's now our pin-up guy, and he's now got a whole new legion of fans, I would suggest, in the gay community, because what a guy.
And he's a pin-up now across he'll be across every gym, every dojo, every place where a lot of the perpetrators of violence against gays, lesbians, bis and trannies originate. So it's actually a really important inroad into tackling perpetrators of violence against gays.
It's a great strategy, isn't it? Having someone quite well known and having so many people admire, having that message come from him, people are going to listen, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the fact that we've got a straight guy, involved in a project like this, and he's also saying to all of his peers, there's better ways of doing things, and to the young men that he's involved with, if you want to fight and you want violence, okay, hop in the ring, but not outside, And
the other group is the friends of those guys, the circle of friends they have around them. This hopefully empowers them to help break the cycle that their perpetrating friends have. So it brings everyone together, straight and gay, to tackle this really important issue.
Fantastic. It's projects like this that definitely will make a difference. So thanks very much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vic Perri and welcome to another edition of Q Weekly. On tonight's show, we go out to Brunswick Street in Fitzroy and we ask some people what they think about gay and lesbian representation on telly. We've also got Dr. Glossop. She's going to take us on a little tour of the Melbourne Zoo. We're going to have a peek at wild sex, and of course later on the show we'll be looking at our Q calendar. First up though, we've got another edition of Can't Even Think Straight. Well, good luck, Corey. What a dysfunctional family that one is. Move over the Simpsons. Now, Ben TV came across a funny little ad in the paper recently. Not sure what this meant, but anyway, a gay guy of about 6 foot tall is who lives in the eastern suburbs, looking for other guys between the ages of 38 and 546. He wants to have fun, so if anyone out there is up to 546 years old, good luck, good on you. But anyway, coming up now is some Vox Pops. So as I said, people are out in Brunswick Street in force, and we were asking them what they think about gay and lesbian representation on telly. Is it too much? Is it not enough? Is it the wrong type? Let's find out. Well, that was certainly interesting, a variety of opinions there in Brunswick Street. Inspired by the recent legislation and debates, Ben TV is currently producing a documentary exploring some of the issues surrounding same-sex and transgendered marriage from a real-life perspective, presenting the personal face of a much talked-about issue. The film will feature a series of interviews of couples living together, highlighting the trials and tribulations and joys that gay, lesbian and transgender couples face in today's society. It'll explain the ways in which discrimination and negative legislation can affect relationships, as well as discussing other related issues facing same-sex and transgendered couples. Ben TV is looking for interviewees So if you want to share your story or simply have an opinion on the topic that you'd love to voice, please get in touch by phone or by email. feedback@btv.org.au, or you can just call our main number, and that's 9517 0125. Now let's go over a very short break, so don't go away. We'll be back very shortly.
Hello, I'm Paul Capsis. I'm here at the Her Majesty's Theatre and you're watching Bent TV. And haven't we got it good?
Hi, I'm Vic Perri and welcome back to Q Weekly. Now, Dr. Glossop will take us on a little tour of some wild sex at the Melbourne Zoo. And this is part of the Melbourne's Fringe Festival. Well, who said only humans can have some fun? Some interesting positions happening there, I think. Now for our Q calendar. This is something we do here at Q Weekly every week. Just some of the events that are happening at the moment. What's something that's happening right now up until Saturday the 23rd of October is Melbourne International Arts Festival. And you can check out the events that are part of this year's festival at www.melbournefestival, which is one word, .com.au. From Friday the 15th of October until Sunday the 17th of October is quite a large or big event, is Living and Loving in Diversity. It's the first the inaugural National Australian Queer Multicultural Conference, and it's happening at St Kilda Town Hall. And if you want any sort of information about that conference, you simply go to www.also.org.au/AGMC. On Saturday, the 16th of October, we've got Sisters on the Peninsula holding a night out at Shakespeare's Bar in Frankston. The cost is $25 and includes entry, finger food and live music. Tickets and more information are available by calling 5975 0040. On Sunday, the 17th of October, United We Dance 3, which is a part of the multicultural conference that's happening that weekend, and it's at the Market Hotel on Commercial Road in South Yarra from 7 p.m. $6 entry includes finger food, entertainment and prizes. So come along and enjoy the great music and party atmosphere. It's all multicultural. And all the proceeds from this year's event go to Joy Melbourne. On Wednesday, the 20th of October, we've got the Spring Soiree, and it's held by P-Flag, and they're having a Spring Soiree Cabaret fundraiser at Dante's Cafe in Gertrude Fitzroy. And if you want more information about that, you can just call 9857 8571. Also on Wednesday, the 20th of October, Terps and Tucker Tribute Night. This is for our very own David McCarthy, former president of Ben TV. Globe and the Also Foundation are holding a tribute night to David, and he's also the former gay and lesbian rights lobby convener. He's a host on Joy Melbourne, a columnist, as well as many other things in the community. If you'd like to join in the tribute to Macca, it's at Bubblicious in Chapel Street, Paran from 6:30 p.m. And if you want more details on that, simply call 9827 4999. On Saturday, the 23rd of October, a day out in the Vines. A day of wine, food, singing and dancing at the Yarra Ridge Winery. And for $170, which is good value by the way, it gets you a ticket for two that includes return transport, hamper-style lunch, glass of wine and souvenir glass, $10 from every ticket sold to gay and lesbians. I'll say that again, $10 from every double ticket goes to the Gay and Lesbian Switchboard. And if you want more information and tickets on that event, simply go to www.identity.net.au. And of course, as with all our Q calendars, if you want to have your event publicised on Q Calendar, just let us know here at Ben TV. Just send us a press release or email us the details at feedback@bentv.org.au. And please include all your contact details and get the information to us as early as possible, and that way we can make sure we get it on the Q calendar. I'm Vic Perri, and that was another episode of Q Weekly. Have a good week. I'll see you next time.
Thank you very much, Jason. That's right, we're here to draw our fantastic competition. Now we have here as our draw girl, Miss Melanie Bress. Thank you very much for joining us. Melanie, how are you?
Great, Steve. I'm glad to be here. This is exciting.
It is, nice. And to make sure that the draw is all drawn above board, we have our official adjudicators. We have Vic Perri from the Bent TV board, and we also have our Fitness First representatives, Adrian and Angie. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Alrighty, now just to make sure that everyone sees that we've got all our entries, here's our entry. We thought it's all got to do with fitness, so backpack, better than a chook barrel, don't you worry about that. Okay, so we've got all our
I thought I was going to be a bag girl. I mean a barrel girl, now I'm a bag girl.
You're a bag girl.
Lady, that would be right.
Bat lady?
Bag lady.
Bag lady.
Yeah.
You could be your own little superheroine, can't you?
I could
Bag
do.
lady.
Yeah.
Now,
Bag
it's all about
lady.
fitness. So we're going to catch.
Oh,
so
it's just...
Yes, it's all about... And again. And again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was getting excited.
Now the first name we're going to draw out, and incidentally we're going to be drawing the names which are going to be the first name and also our entrance, the first initial of their surname for privacy reasons, obviously. Now, and also, as we said, stated in the promotions, it's one prize per entrant. Now, we're first going to draw our second prize, which is a 3-month membership and an introduction sports pack. Now, Miss Bress, would you care to do the honours? Get in
I went
there,
into a pocket somewhere. It was the wrong.
No, that's all right.
Okay.
Okay, now.
Would you put that one?
That's okay. We've got
two at once. We'll go with both of these.
We'll use both.
I'm sorry, they were bundled together. All right. So this is the first.
Now this is the second. Now there's 2 second prizes. This is a second prize winner of the 3 months membership and the introduction sports pack, and the name is
Joe M.
Joe M. Congratulations. We'll be contacting you about your prize, and Miss Bress, if you would
I'll
like to.
hand that to the adjudicators.
To make this all
and
official.
now. This is the second prize?
This is the second prize.
The second prize.
3 months membership and the introduction sports
Could be the
pack.
second first runner-up, couldn't they?
Second first runner-up.
Yeah, exactly. Now, that would be Kate B.
Kate B, congratulations. You are our other second prize winner. Yay! Now, the moment...
Thank you, Vic.
Thank you very much. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for, our first prize winner, the 6 months membership, the introduction sports pack, plus 3 personal training sessions. Now we're
sorry,
excited.
I just got excited. Personal training.
Now grab one. Now make sure you only grab one because we don't have 2 of these to give away.
Right, okay, I'll be careful this time. Can I look in there while I'm doing... I'm not reading the name, but I just
well, they're all
want to make
folded
sure
over, so I'd be amazed if you're able to do that.
Right.
Alrighty now. Now I'll just plop that down there.
Our first place winner.
First place winner is...
Mr. John W.
John W, congratulations. You are our first prize winner of 6 months membership plus 3 personal training sessions and an introduction sports pack. Now, I would just like to thank our adjudicators, Angie, Adrian and Vic, for joining us. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
And Melanie, thank you very much. Obviously a very, very busy lady.
I am, thank you, Steve. And just everybody, if you want to support Bent, come and play bingo on Monday night with me, and we're actually fundraising for Bent till the end of January.
Yay!
So,
we love bingo candy. Thank you very much. Now it's back to you, Jason.
Thanks, Jason. So what is the AIDS quilt, Colin?
The AIDS quilt is a memorial made up of panels of 6 by 3 feet, made of material, which commemorate the lives of people who have succumbed to the HIV/AIDS virus.
And this is something been happening for a number of years now.
Oh yes, for quite a number of years. It originated in the USA, and the idea was brought over to Australia, where it started off, and it's grown to be quite a large quilt now.
And there's also an event that happens annually as well, the AIDS Vigil. Now, it's something that's sort of been happening for a while as well. In the last few years, it hasn't been well attended as it used to be. Why is that?
No, it used to attract thousands and thousands of people in both the Sydney and the Melbourne Vigil. And with the introduction of medicines that have meant that people with HIV/AIDS have been living a lot longer, healthier, productive lives, the deaths have been fewer, which is a really good thing. But one of the outcomes of that is that there haven't been as many quilt panels being made. And also people's interest in remembering people who have died of HIV/AIDS has lessened because AIDS is not in the forefront anymore because of the medications. And so we have less people attending the vigils these days.
So, but I suppose with the quilt, and we're talking about people that were making quilt panels each year to remember someone who passed away. We probably should point out to people that it doesn't have to be someone who passed away that particular year.
Absolutely
it could be
not.
Someone who passed away a while ago. So if people are out there that do know someone, or whether it be a family member, a partner, and they've passed away and they haven't done a quilt, they can still do one.
Absolutely, they can do that. It can be someone who's passed away 10, 15 years ago. There's a lot of ideas up there in people's heads which have never come to fruition. The time hasn't been right for them. They are going through a very lengthy grieving process. And the idea of actually putting the needle to the material and start the stitching process it's a big step to take. But as I say, there's a lot of ideas out there for quilts which have never ever been made. And the other thing is, you don't actually have to have known someone who has died of the virus. It can be totally anonymous for someone, not for one particular person, maybe for a group of people. For instance, we had a panel made by the prisoners of the Port Phillip for all the prisoners who had died while in custody. And we have other panels made by nurses of hospitals for patients in general, not for one particular person. So yes, you don't actually have to know someone who's passed away from the virus.
So that leads us to the AIDS Vigil that's happening very soon. In fact, this coming Sunday.
Yes, on the 21st of November.
So the details of the day?
Yes, that's at the Positive Living Centre, which is in Commercial Road, Paran, which is a really nice space to have the ceremony. And we will be having some of the Australian quilt on display because it is quite large now, and finding a space big enough that's affordable to put it on displays is quite a big task. So we're having a partial display and an indoor vigil with some guest speakers, and that's this Sunday, the 21st at 5 o'clock.
And there's usually some sort of form of entertainment.
We have the tenor David Rogers-Smith will be performing a couple of numbers for us, which he did last year, and he's coming back to sing a couple of songs. David Menadue, who is the author of the book Positive, will be coming to speak, and Professor Steve Wesselingh from the Burnett Institute will be coming to speak as well. But most importantly on the day, that will be the launch of the website, the new website, which will contain all the images of the Australian quilt online.
Well, that's an amazing process, to particularly considering the number of panels.
Well, there's over 1,000 panels, and each had to be photographed and processed in a way that it could be displayed online. So it's been a big task. It's taken a few years to do, and we'll officially launch it on the 21st.
And the address?
The web address is aidsquilt.org.au, although it won't be released online until the 21st.
All right. And the 21st, of course, this is this Sunday at the Positive Living Centre.
That's right.
It's the AIDS Vigil, and the time?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Yes, anyone can attend. It's free to attend, of course.
And that's the thing, it's open to the public.
It's open to everybody.
Even if you didn't know or don't know anyone with HIV/AIDS, it's about just being there and having a presence and
remembering the lives of people that we've lost to the virus.
All right,
that's right.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Colin, for coming in.
Thank you, Vic.
Back to Jason. Thanks, Jace. Thanks, Amy. So, Stephen, Director of the Burnett Institute. So, what is the Burnett Institute about?
All right, the Burnett Institute is Australia's largest viral research institute, and we've really chosen to really look very carefully at the viruses that have major public health impact. And obviously, therefore, we've chosen HIV and hepatitis C as our focus. And we try very hard to look at those viruses and the impact of those viruses right across the spectrum, from fundamental biology all the way to international health outcomes. So we have some labs right next to the Alfred Hospital where we do all our work. Plus we have offices right throughout Southeast Asia working in the environment where HIV is having its major impact.
So you mainly focus on sort of clinical research, but what about stats? Do you
Yes, no, we have an epidemiology and social research program, and so we actually do all the analysis of all the HIV and hepatitis C data for Victoria, but we're also obviously very interested in the overwhelming epidemic that's now occurring in the Asia-Pacific region as well.
What are some of the stats at the moment then? Say for instance, and I know that Papua New Guinea there's a bit of a problem. And what about other areas? So what are
well,
some
if we
of the
look globally,
numbers?
then we're looking at around more than 42 million people infected globally.
Yep.
If we look in our region, in the Asia-Pacific region, we're talking about 7.4 million people, so it's a lot of people infected with HIV. And then the country closest to us, Papua New Guinea, an hour away from Cairns, we're talking about 1 to 2% of the Papua New Guinean population HIV positive, which then adds up to more than 50,000, somewhere between 50 and 100,000 people infected with HIV, which is, for a country of 6 million people, is substantially more than the number of people HIV infected in Australia. So, and it's an epidemic that's only just reached Papua New Guinea. So that worries us a lot, and we're doing a lot of work both in our labs to help monitor the Papua New Guinea epidemic and also from a public health point of view in Papua New Guinea.
And that's something that people really need to get into context, don't they? Because while we might look at, say, a certain number of thousands, say in Victoria, of 8,000 infected, and we're looking at small population of Australia, to hear those sort of percentages or those figures in countries so close to Australia, that's quite scary, isn't it?
It is very worrying. I guess I take up your point about the smallish numbers in Australia. I think one of the aspects of that is Australia's responded very well to the HIV epidemic, and it's been a response to HIV which has come from right across the community, from positive people, from gay groups, from science and from the medical fraternity, and I think we've really responded very well. We have to make sure we continue to respond, and there are some minor concerns around that, but I think we can also pat ourselves on the back a bit, but utilise our expertise and move it into the region, into Papua New Guinea and the Asia Pacific region.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of HIV/AIDS on this program over time, on Ben TV in general anyway, and covered many of the issues related to HIV/AIDS. And one of the things I've always been interested in is the cure for HIV. Now, for many years, or I suppose lately, there's been emphasis on better treatments, and we've been talking about the lives of people living with HIV, but you don't hear much about, or anyone sort of protesting about a cure for AIDS. Is that sort of dropped off the agenda? Why is it that doesn't seem to be happening now? 10 to 20 years ago, there would have been this great big emphasis on finding a cure, but it doesn't seem to be the case now. Why is that?
I think there's a number of reasons. One is that our treatments are so much better, and really now we can offer people who are HIV positive very good treatments to control the virus, and therefore control the damage the virus can do to the immune system. Secondly, as we understand more about the virus, I think it's become clear that it's not biologically plausible to really think about a cure at this stage. Right. The virus secretes itself away in so many different cells in the body that to try and kill all those cells and get rid of the virus would be a very, very difficult task. And I guess, although we haven't given up completely, I think we're focusing more on things like a vaccine that would prevent infection, or a therapeutic vaccine which we would give to people who are already infected, but would enhance their immune response against the virus and help them control it better, hopefully without drug treatment.
All right, so with limited resources, particularly money, it's sort of, I suppose it's better to concentrate on what's achievable rather than what may not be achievable. There's been a couple of events lately that have been sort of been a part of World AIDS Day or World AIDS Week, and something the Burnett Institute has been involved with was a concert in Federation Square last night. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we put a lot of effort into organising the World AIDS Day concert at Federation Square, had some great acts, and really we wanted to utilise the concert to identify to mainstream populations what the problem with HIV/AIDS was, how big the problem was in our region, and that really Australia had a responsibility to respond to that. We also wanted to emphasise that this is a global problem, and the concert was therefore linked to other concerts around the world, San Francisco, London, where they're also having AIDS Day or AIDS Week concerts. And I think that message is a very important message.
Great. Thanks very much, Steve, for coming in.